YouTube, F-MAN CRITIC backend. Well, a month ago, I reviewed a movie. A movie that was in context with a TV show. A movie that came out 2 seasons after the show. A movie called Hilda and the Mountain King. And in that review, I said some things. I said that the movie is where the series should have ended, and there's no way that season 3 would be able to top the ending of The Mountain King. And if it did, I would eat my own hat. Well, judging from the different hat and this video, I was wrong. The ending to season 3 did top the movie. In fact, it actually just, it topped it. I didn't actually think. The only reason I was against season 3 was because of the new design changes. That was it, really. I just didn't like the idea of, with Hilda being more older, if I was being honest with you guys. And if I'm also being honest, I just the only way that anyone would get a movie and then end it with the characters aging a bit is if the series was over. That's what I thought until season 3 came out. And I was wrong. Season 3 did manage to top the movie. It was everything you wanted in a Hilda ending. Well, almost everything, but I'll get to that soon. Alright? I mean, for those of you who don't know season 3, okay, I'll give you just a quick recap before we review the episode. And I know what you're thinking, Finley, it's an episode. Oh, not a movie, so why are you giving it the full movie review treatment? Well, in case you didn't know, it's actually an hour and 20 minutes long. Yeah, the last episode of Hilda is an hour and 20 minutes long. What the actual hell? Here's my biggest complaint with this thing, actually. Here's my biggest complaint, alright? Why isn't this episode its own thing? Like The Mountain King, why couldn't this be its own thing? Why couldn't it also be given the Mountain King treatment, you know? I'm just saying, it deserves, what the Mountain King got, you know? Oh, I'm just saying, everything about this just deserved its own thing, like the Mountain King, you know? Episode 7 of season 3, it should have been the last episode of Hilda, and this, the last movie of Hilda, you know? That's what I have to say. Anyway, let me give you the recap. Apparently, Hilda has a great aunt Astrid who raised Joanna when she was younger. And apparently, she lives in a town where people have different spectacles of fairies, you know? Different interpretations. And, and great aunt Astrid makes these, little charm thingies that's supposed to, bring you good luck or something like that. And, well, Joanna kind of has a bit of a prejudice with fairies because her last memories involved fairies and her parents. And I really like this is what the season dipped into. This season dipped into family. From the start, this entire season was about Hilda's family. About Joanna's side of the family and about Hilda's dad. They actually show us Hilda's dad. And to tell you guys, it's not the bellkeeper. We all thought it was the bellkeeper, but it ain't the bellkeeper. Shame. But still. And they dive into the origins of Joanna and just Joanna and all entirely. This season is more focused on Joanna's past than just another season of Hilda going out on adventures. And I like that. I really did like that. You know? Anyway, and then Hilda's dad gets lost, and then, she's trying to find out where he is, and then she finds out that he's with Victoria Van Gale, the woman who really put the mad in Mad Scientist, is in a different world, and just, frankly, it's just, yeah, in other words, he's on a different world and she's going to find him. And she knows where she can start finding him. So she heads off to Astrid's its town and, go and find him. And then Joanna find out where she's going, and she's going to stop her before she ends up getting hurt, And I liked it that this last episode picks off from that. Once again, I do feel like episode 7 should have been the last episode of Hilda, and the Fairy Isles, should have been its own thing, like the Mountain King, Anyway, the point is, they go around, they go into the isles, and then, and then it doesn't take, anyway, Hilda managed to find her dad, and she finds out that he's been with Victoria Van Gale. I know I already said that. And what's the dealio with Victoria? Well, the 2 episodes that she was in last time, she was a quirk. She was a mad scientist, at first she controlled the weather, and then she tried to, enter the nowhere space, all in the attempts for, she tried to do it out of it. Her heart was in the right place, but the way how she was doing it was messed up. But, she wasn't evil or anything, Oh, let's just get on with this. Anyway, so, and I do think it's kind of weird that in this episode, Hilda doesn't have any, grudges or any, prejudice or, some kind of, unfinished beef with Victoria, considering the last time how these two interacted, you know what I mean? Victoria's just being everything's just tickety-boo, being all, being on her own, and, Anyway, Hilda and her dad managed to escape out of the Isles, escape out of the thing, but, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, throughout the entire season, Hilda's been being stalked by these 2 cloaked-like figures. In this episode, we'll get more on that later. Anyway, they managed to get out, but, but Hilda finding out that Joanna went in there, and she hops back in there, and then, and then we get introduced to the Fairy Isles, a very beautiful and magical place. Just looks fantastic, and just downright beautiful. Oh, Hilda quickly finds a little girl with brown hair, and claims that she's looking for her mother too. Yeah, it's pretty obvious that's Joanna. We don't know why she's a kid yet, but we do know that is Joanna. Hell, in the tease, we all theorized that was Joanna. And, listen, apparently, and if I'm being honest here, I do like how Hilda and little Joanna react to each other and how they communicate. And it's actually kind of cute, if I'm being honest. They have a really cute bond, if I'm being honest. It's adorable. Well, they're both trying to find what they both want, even though Hilda already found what she wants. But, she agrees to help her find her mother, a.k.a. Hilda's grandmother. Anyway, and then they discover other fairies, and they are very nice creatures. Apparently in the world of Hilda, fairies are actually, almost human-like, but with pointy ears, and they like to dance. And, apparently. Anyway, during the time when they both wake up, Hilda sees a blonde lady petting little Joanna, and they go after her, finding out, what a shock, a man with blue hair, a.k.a. Hilda's granddad. Apparently, little Joanna hugs, and they all say, Joanna, and Hilda realizes that's her mother. Oh, duh! We all knew that was Joanna. And apparently we find out what's been going on. Apparently, Joanna has no memory of her previous life, that they abandoned her, but turns out it was for a good reason. Turns out Astrid was in on it too. Turns out when Joanna's parents, including Astrid, were very young, when they were I'm assuming Hilda's age, they met each other. Apparently, Joanna's dad and Astrid loved to visit the human realm, and then Joanna's dad met Joanna's mom, and they both formed a bit of a friendship, and although Astrid was like, they immediately just straight up, they just they go on cool adventures, and eventually they grew up together, liking each other. One day Astrid just kind of fed up and just asked him to come back, But here's the problem. Joanna's mother was pregnant with, you guessed it, baby Joanna. So, and although Astrid was kind of angry at first, what are you gonna do? You can't return and stuff. Or if you have to return, but the child, and he figures, screw it. I love my wife. I love our future child. You should just stay with us. We could be a happy family. And she actually agrees, and they move to a bigger house with baby Joanna, and it's actually adorable. I'm not gonna lie, Joanna just looks so cute. She is just absolutely adorable in these flashbacks. I guess that explains where Hilda got her cuteness from. But sadly, though, the happiness doesn't last, because apparently Joanna got sick. I don't know why. Maybe because she's half fairy or something. I don't know why. I ain't got Scooby-Doo why she got sick. But they looked like there was going to be no hope for Joanna. It looks like she was going to be boned. But Joanna's parents made an agreement with the spirit. This chairman from Ghost and Molly McGee looking motherfucker over here is all like, I'll cure your daughter's sickness, but in 10 years, she comes to us. Or something like that. And, Joanna's parents, they don't want to let their daughter go in 10 years, but they had to agree in order for her to live. 10 years go by, and they decide, instead of her going, they take her place instead. And Joanna gets her memories back about her childhood with her parents, and honestly, they're just pretty adorable. I like this little birthday one. That's just so cute. Surprised Joanna didn't give this little hoodie thing to Hilda when she was her age, Oh, I love this little one where she gives her dad a Santa Claus soap bubble beard. I like this one where her mother's just combing her hair because she got dirty, because I'm guessing because when she fell off a waff, It's just adorable. But, they had to accept the fact that, they couldn't be a happy family. So Aunt Astrid played government and erased this stuff from her mind, to protect her. And anyway, and she gives her memories back, of course. And Hilda's more happy that she's part fairy. I guess that explains the blue hair, actually. If I'm being honest with you guys, when I first started watching the show, at first, I thought Hilda was adopted. At first, right? But then when she mentioned she's been in that house since she was born, and the fact we didn't meet her dad at the time, I was assuming that her dad had blue hair like she did, and hence the blue hair. I thought that was the reason, but no, it's because she's she's part fairy, and her granddad had blue hair too. But they realize they can't go back now. Now that Joanna's been reunited with her parents, if she leaves, she'll die. Her sickness will probably come back and she'll die. And Hilda, as much as she loves it here, she can't abandon all of her friends. She can't abandon Frida, David, Twig, her dad. She just got her dad back. She can't abandon Alpha, Tontu, their newest friend they met this season, Louise. She can't say goodbye to all of them. Anyway, they try to act like a happy little family, but, Hilda, she just wants to go back home. As much as she loves it here, and as much as she loved in meeting her grandparents and learning about her origins and her mother's origins, still, they can't stay here. And, so the grandparents, take her to this place of, how they can communicate with, well, sort of. It's a place where they can spy on the humans and all that, But, Hilda, that's just not enough for her, so she wants to get out. And there's this part in this episode where Twig Frida and David actually, like, use Twig to try and bring Hilda back, because since Twig is a deer fox, and since he comes from a bunch of people, for a bunch of creatures that can travel through worlds, through the cosmos, they were able to bring her, they were able to open up a portal and ride like deer foxes to go back to the world. But wait, they can't. They have to struck a deal with the fairy spirit, since the deal has been broken, and they have to make a new deal before Joanna gets sick again and stuff like that. And anyway, Astrid, she does confront this thing, saying how she doesn't need Joanna and how he's just being a jerk, you know? Oh, but she tries to make a deal with him. And Victoria Van Gale, she actually managed to pop in. Apparently, in the world that she was in, she managed to make a portal to come here. And apparently, she takes the place. She actually, in my opinion, redeems herself. Like, we all thought that Victoria Van Gale put the mad in Mad Scientist, but she still does. But in this total selfless act, she totally redeems herself in my eyes, if I'm being honest here. And listen, I know there's a scene in the episode that you probably want me to tackle, but I don't want to, okay? I'm going to describe it to you. After when they leave the Fairy Isles, Joanna, she starts getting all sick and stuff. Her skin gets more pale and she starts coughing. Clearly her sickness has returned. And although it's on screen for 1 minute, it is very impactful. It hits you like a bitch, and just Joanna dies. Like, although it's on screen for 1 minute, she dies. For temporarily. But although it's on screen for 1 minute, and although it's temporarily, it hits you. It hits you hard. Like one of the best characters in this show, Joanna, basically Mother of the Year in this show, basically died. But I don't want to show it to you. Hell, I'm not even going to show you a clip of it. But let's just say she does die. And although it's on screen for 1 minute, and although it's only temporarily, it hits you hard. Go watch it if you don't want. Go watch it in case you actually do want to see it. But take my word, it does hit you. Anyway, because of Victoria's choice to stay here, Astrid, she's banned from the Isles, and and Joanna gets to live. Hooray! Anyway, things seem to be wrapping up now, and we get this awesome, very satisfying, possibly the best moment in Hilda history ever. We see a montage of what the characters are up to. Apparently, Hilda's dad gets a little apartment so he can stay in Trollberg and be with his daughter. Hilda and Joanna are going to get ready for the big Great Raven Parade. the parade from episode 3 of season 1 returns. It's come full circle, baby. And we see a little montage of what the characters are up to. And it's amazing. Great Raven returns, and Tilly, and it appears that after the episode of the Time Worm, apparently these two actually do get together in the end. And Hilda, she gets to ride the Great Raven, and we get to see this dude from season 2, Trevor, one of the most pointless characters in the whole series. He makes a return. Rat King makes a return. And Kaiser makes a return. And it makes a cute little thing with David where they're sharing snacks. The Mara returns, stealing David's snacks. And, Alpha and her, the new head mission of Safety Patrol, she returns. And we see Frida practicing being a witch by giving a little kid back his balloon. And this part's really funny. Hilda's dad bumps into the bellkeeper. The man we all thought was Hilda's dad is not. But there's one question, actually. If he's not Hilda's dad, then how come he has a bit of blue hair in his hair? Maybe he's Pot Fairy too. Maybe. Whatever. And we even see a glimpse of Louise on the parade float. And all I'm saying is, it's a beautiful moment. The most beautiful moment in all of Hilda history. The gang all just comes together, watches the fireworks and the parade. We get this glimpse of what Hilda's looking at. We even get what I'm assuming is the shadow of her grandparents, and it just cuts to Hilda looking at the parade, being happy. Then it cuts to black, and that was Hilda in the Fairy Isles. And holy hell, I was wrong about season 3. I just didn't like it because of the new designs, and I still stand by that. Okay, I still hate the new designs. It's to a capital H. Okay, I hate the new designs. Okay, I hate them with a burning passion. But this episode it managed to top the Mountain King. Although I still think the franchise should have ended after the movie, I'm still glad we have season 3. Hell, in a way, if I'm being honest here, this whole thing, what they did with Hilda, reminds me a lot of Steven Universe, if I'm being honest here. A show with a great story, likable characters, even got its own movie where the series should have just ended after that, and another season which honestly kind of ruins the whole series. Seriously, Steven Universe Future sucked. But here's the thing. I like to believe that season 3 of Hilda is like Steven Universe Future, only if it didn't fucking suck. You know? Oh, I mean, in that season, because the main character from the show is all grown up a little, and the movie is honestly where the series should have ended. Now, if I'm being honest here, I like to believe that season 3 is like a bonus, I like to believe season 3 not only unlooses all the loose holes, and but I like to believe it also, like, it's a bonus season. It unties all the loose holes, gives us a bunch of fan service, and just, in general, although I still like The Mountain King, I still like this, okay? This season finale brought me to tears, It really did. It's more emotional than The Mountain King, I'm not gonna lie. Although I still think the franchise should have ended after The Mountain King, I do like that we got season 3. I like to believe it's more of a bonus season, if I'm being honest. And Hilda and the Fairy Isles should have definitely been its own thing. It should have definitely been its own feature-like film, like The Mountain King. You know what I mean? It should have definitely been that. And the only beef I have with the ending, or season 3 in general, is because, if I'm being honest here, I was a little disappointed at the end of the series, or at least somewhere in season 3. It doesn't really... I'm going to be honest. I am a Hilda x Frida kind of guy. Like, not only do I think Hilda and Frida would make a great couple, it's just that it was destined in the show. I mean, in the episode The Witch, it was revealed that Hilda could make a very good familiar to Frida, and she responded with, I can do that. Hell, I even got an actual post saying in this did Hilda ever have a crush on someone? Apparently she did. Apparently it was going to be revealed in season 2 that Hilda had a thing for Frida, and, but it never really brought up. And although this thing isn't, canon, or, although this thing didn't really make it into the show, I like to believe it was canon. You know what I mean? Because not only if you watch the show, you would know that Hilda and Frida are not only best friends, but you can believe that they would make a great couple as well. Okay? But although the show didn't confirm it, or at least say that they're dating in the end, I like to believe, in a way, it's best to the minds of the audience, because in a similar show, like The Owl House, at the ending of The Owl House, V is going out with them, And although in the last episode we never see them in the Boiling Isles, the show actually said that it's best to the minds of the audience. So although we don't see them in the Boiling Isles dating V, I think it's best to leave it to the minds of the audience. And that's why I like to believe with Frida and Hilda. Although the show doesn't confirm it, I think it's best to leave it to the minds of the audience. Alright? So, in other words, it's this last episode of Hilda not only did it not only top The Mountain King, but I did love it. Okay? It was beautiful. It was great. Everything about it was just brilliantly done. And although I didn't go through all the details and all possible references or the stuff, I'll leave you guys a link to someone. This isn't a review shout out, okay? I'm gonna leave you a link to a YouTuber who went through all the details. The name of the YouTube channel is Channel Cartoon, I believe. I think that is. Whatever. I'll leave a link in the description so you can watch for yourself, where he goes by all the juicy details and all the stuff that happens in the episode. And the stuff that I didn't technically go through because I was too busy on telling you the story. In other words, this is the F-Man Critic telling you to like, subscribe, hit notification, and thank you, Hilda, for everything.